Hello, this is Professor Afrikadzata Deku speaking to you from Spartanburg, South Carolina, and I'm here to share some of my Africa centricity poems with you. And this one is called "Why Continental Africans Are Not Underdeveloped, but the World First Developed Beings on Earth." Why continental Africans are not underdeveloped, but the world first developed beings on Earth. Continental Africans are not and cannot be underdeveloped, no matter what they say, claim, think, or believe. Long, long before they came to continental Africa with their slave, colonial, neo-colonial philosophy and agenda of lies and lootings of our sacred continental African homeland, continental Africans, Asian and traditional, knew no underdevelopment. Long, long, long before the introduction into continental Africa of their dependent, partial, and fleeting money created, money based, and money oriented dependent development, continental Africa was the world first developed of all developed places on earth. For 10,000 years, continental Africa developed themselves without money or perpetual aid from the white man or the Jew or the Arab. The true development is not the material acquisition of this or that in life, which one can never have enough of, let alone have enough time to enjoy or own for life. Material possessions are not the cause but the result of development. Continental Africans are not and can never be underdeveloped, no matter their lies. To think is to prefer to think so is to prefer their chaff to our African-centric grain of life. To calling continental Africa underdeveloped is nothing but a slave, colonial, neo-colonial agenda and mechanism to deprive today's Africans of their right to define, think, act, and see themselves as the world first developed beings on earth, which most of us know little or nothing of. The concept of developed and underdeveloped world, nation, or people is nothing but Western manufactured lie to rob today's Africans of their own Africa-centric continental African perspective, practice, power, benefits of their own 10,000-year-old Africa-centric continental African development and prosperity as the mother of all today's development in the world. To see ourselves as the world first developed beings is to know we are developed from head to toe. To accept our own Africa-centric development is to be free from the poison of their man-made underdevelopment. To believe in our own self-reliant development is to think, speak, and act as developed in thoughts, words, and deeds. Development is the road that leads us to development. Underdevelopment is also another road that leads those who believe and follow it to the hell of their chronic underdevelopment in the hell of their own self-ignorance. To have one is to lose the other. There's no development for anyone on the road of underdevelopment. Say it again. There is no development for anyone on the road of underdevelopment. Partial development is no development. Dependent development is not development, but a genocide to be free from its clause. Fleeting development is a curse and not a blessing. The true continental African made, continental African based, a continental African oriented political, economic, social development, which is total, permanent, and everlasting for all our working continental and diaspora African to rediscover, practice, and enjoy for life is continental African mind created, continental African spirit based, continental African ancestrally protected, and continental African divine led development and prosperity for all continental to discover and enjoy for life in dignity and peace for all. For the awakened continental diaspora Africans, there is no choice between African-centric continental African development of self-reliance, self-sufficiency, self-reliance, and prosperity for all continental Africans, and Eurocentric material heaven for the few, and development and misery for the many. To think underdeveloped is to become underdeveloped no matter what. But to think developed is to become developed no matter what. Because only the developed can endow himself with the developed means to develop himself further. Whereas the underdeveloped is programmed to guarantee himself his own underdevelopment, misery, tears, sweat, and blood from which he must free himself once he accepts himself as the welfare being on earth. So meaning the label of underdevelopment is a genocide imposed on us to make us think underdeveloped, act underdeveloped, believe underdeveloped, and we become underdeveloped. The same thing for poverty. They make us think we are poor, we act poor, we dress poor, we eat poor, even though we live on the richest continent on earth. So because of that, we live poor, we think poor, and we become poor. Why? So that we can beg for their crowns, while they take our gold and our diamond and everything. So this is a mind thing. Not their lies are not our our truths are our truth. So we should look for our Africa-centric truth to set us free from the hell of their lies. And thank you very much.